Hey guys, it's me David and welcome back to another LEGO Star Wars set review. Today we have yet another buildable character being Wicket the Ewok. Set number is 75430. It's going to have 1,010 pieces. It's going to go on sale August 1st of 2025 at a retail price of $130. I immediately looked at this set and thought, yeah, $100 I suppose for this one, maybe 90, 130. Oh my goodness. LEGO and their pricing with this summer wave is just out of hand. My initial impressions of this set are pretty mixed. I'm not sure exactly how I feel about this, so I'll give it a chance once I build it. Now what I'm really excited about though is the fact that we have the return of an actual Ewok minifigure in a LEGO Star Wars set. It's been some time since we saw Ewoks, and we have a brand new version of Wicket here in this set. Looks to have all new printings. Might be the same Ewok mold, might be updated. We'll see here shortly. Printed plaque, and overall that should be a nice addition to this set. Doesn't make up for that $130 price tag. The set is available for pre-order, so if you're just dying to have this set, I don't recommend this. If you're just dying to have it, you can pre-order it with the link down in the description. But seriously, this is just one of those sets that's going to show up at Costco for $30 to $50 under MSRP and will likely sit until it goes on another sale, because that's exactly what's happening with the Grogu with Pram at my personal Costco. It's been sitting there for 2 months. Nobody's buying them, even at $20 less than the MSRP price. And I feel like that's going to be the same case with Wicket the Ewok. In my personal opinion, just based on the piece count and the way this set looks, it doesn't seem worthy of that price tag. It's likely going to sit until it hits discounts, but we'll see. We will see. I'm going to give the set a fair chance. I do want to thank LEGO for sending this set over for review, and let's see what Wicket the Ewok, the buildable character, has to offer in the in-depth.
You know, I was watching a documentary last night on Disney Plus. It's called Light and Magic. Really great one. I highly recommend it. And George Lucas was being interviewed, and he was talking about the Ewoks and how they originally were designed to be scary looking. And he looked at the designers and he said, "Dare to be cute." And that kind of sticks with me about like Wicket and all the other Ewoks. But first off, let's take a look at this information plaque here, which is a printed piece. And as you can see, it's just like any other. And we do have the one single minifigure in the set, being a little minifigure version of Wicket with his little medium nuke staff. Now, from what I can tell, the last time we got Wicket was in a 4+ set from a few years back, and it seems to be a slightly tweaked version. Like, I would barely call this a new version, but it is different looking from the images I could reference it back to. But getting onto the set now, I gotta say, Wicket looks pretty good in person. Like, the box does not do this design justice. It looks way better with real lighting and not being a digital render like it is on the box. Overall, as we take a look around the design, like I'm pretty impressed. It looks like an Ewok. The design is pretty well executed. I like how parts are being utilized here. Even the face, while some might call this cursed, does look really good in my opinion. It has a little bit of that cuteness, and yes, those eyes are printed. They're actually very similar to the cat eyes that come in that Ideas set. We do have a little cracker as a 3x3 tile piece here that just kind of fits into his hands, and while it's loose, you can tighten it if you just get it between the anti-studs on the back like so. Now you can also take Wicket's big giant staff off. It's just being held in by a Technic piece, and there is no articulation to either arm here. They are stuck in place. I even tried to reverse the Technic pin that holds these arms in place, and they wouldn't work. They're just set for one specific angle, and that's it. So it's basically a giant statue of a LEGO set, and that is in line with the Chewbacca figure that we got at $200 just a few years ago. His ears are really cute. They stick out pretty well and blend into the design. There are some gaps here and there that might frustrate people. I think what really bothers me though is like this little bit of lime green sticking out between the gap of the dark orange, which, by the way, there's so many recolored dark orange pieces in this with those really nice curved slopes, and I'm like, where was this when I was building Geonosis? Like, I was so frustrated building this set knowing I could have had access to these parts. But there's definitely a lot of good parts usage. The design of this set was very interesting. I enjoyed putting it together. There's even great little usage of the boomerang piece here on the top, and the stand actually makes use of just some extra studs right here in the middle as a place for where you can put that little cracker if you don't want Wicket himself holding it. So that's a nice option as well, which I definitely appreciate. But now let's go ahead and start comparing some other LEGO Star Wars sets to give you guys an idea of scale of Wicket, because he is on the smaller side. Like, smaller than you might be expecting. First off, I know this is a weird choice, but I brought in the Princess Leia Boushh or Boushh helmet here, which I feel like is a decent pairing. Both are from Return of the Jedi, and obviously Princess Leia and Wicket have their first interactions together on Endor. No, she's not wearing the Boushh helmet, but I thought it would be a fun combo. And then let's go ahead and bring in the Battle Droid with Stap, because this is a similar price point to Wicket, just a $10 difference between these two sets, and it's crazy how much bigger and more articulation and just more going on with the Battle Droid with Stap is compared to Wicket here. And then probably the most obvious choice to compare the two is Chewbacca, because of the design being so similar, and there's a $70 difference from where Chewbacca originally retailed. Now, from what I understand, Chewbacca was not a good seller. It was not very popular with fans, and I can see why. It has a kind of cursed face, and I feel like Wicket here has kind of redeemed the buildable characters in that regard, and I would say Wicket's better looking than Chewbacca, but overall they do look good next to each other. And then finally, probably the two sets you'll be cross-shopping if you're interested in these type of sets, which is the Grogu with Pram. They're very similar to each other, very similar in size, but there's a $30 difference between these two. And yes, they both have like the cuteness eyes and all that going on. But seriously, you're getting a very similar piece count, and yet there is $30 more on the Wicket side. And in fact, you can find the buildable Grogu here with the Pram for $80 now at Costco, which is bonkers. And then I haven't even mentioned the biggest elephant in the room, which is K2SO. This is launching right alongside Wicket here at $40 less. Yes, K2SO has 150 less pieces than Wicket at 1,000, but seriously, I don't know about you, but K2SO looks like the better value to me. So while I certainly have my nitpicks with some color pieces showing through the gaps, with the fact that there's no articulation with the figure for the most part, it overall does look like the character, and I do have to give props to the designer for that, but it is unfortunate how expensive this set really is.
Wicket here is the perfect case scenario of when the digital renders on a box go wrong, because this does not represent this properly. Like, he looks a lot better in person. I don't know why, but I think LEGO really should have gone back to good old traditional photography for their box there, because the digital render isn't doing the figure justice. Like, I think this buildable character looks really good in person. Like, it's not a bad looking set. It's one of the better ones. Far cry improvement over Chewbacca from a few years back, and he looks cute. Now, is he $130 worth of cuteness? Definitely not, especially when we bring in K2SO into this picture. This is being charged at $90, 850 pieces. So there's about 150 piece discrepancy between these two, 1,000 pieces, 850, but this is 130 and this is 90. What's going on here? Like, that's very questionable why this set is so much more expensive than this one, and they're both being launched at the exact same time. It just makes K2 look like a much better value, and I do think overall it's the better character to buy amongst the two. And so while I like Wicket, I like the design, it looks good in person, I do wish there was a little bit more articulation here. I do wish you could move his hand. Like, it's just a statue basically, which is fine. You're just gonna put him on display. He looks cute in the background on your shelf maybe. But I'm questioning how popular of a product this really is gonna be. How many people actually wanna fork over $130? It's very low, I imagine. And so until this set goes on a pretty heavy discount, like, I personally can't see this being a higher price set to K2SO. So $90 is like the max I could suggest this set at, but really feels like an $80 set compared to K2. So until this set drops in price, I do not recommend it. Definitely not a day one buy, but I could absolutely see this showing up on Costco later this year come Christmas time, and everybody's getting gifts, and this is only like $80 to $90. That's an easy thing to give to another person because it's cute, it's recognizable. Everybody loves Ewoks. I think everybody loves Ewoks. So just the final line, very overpriced set, but it's not a bad one. It's well built, looks good, no complaints really other than articulation. Minifigure's fine. It's like a slightly new version of Wicket, very minorly from that 4+ set, but it is technically a new version. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you like these buildable characters? Do you have any interest in these? Do you think you're ever going to pick up Wicket? Definitely curious to hear all those thoughts. Thanks again to LEGO for sending this set over for review. Hope you guys have a great one today, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.